what's up everybody, 72 Fins. Well, I'm bringing a new rebuild series. I put it up on Facebook a while back of this project, so you might already know if you checked it out. Recently I got my hands on an old farm tractor, which is a 1945 Farmall B. So, Farmall made a letter series tractor, which consisted of A, B, C, H, and M. Now, some of them made Supers for, which was, I think it was the Super A's, Super C, Super H, and Super M. I think the difference mainly was that the H and the M had water pumps on them, which helps with cooling. Super A's, I don't really know anything about them, but anyways, what I have is a 1945 B. Farmall made the B from 1939 to 1947. So without further ado, here it is. Now, it's been sitting for about 20 years, so needless to say, it's got its issues. But it does have its good sides, some of them. Just there's the front of the tractor, right there, about right there to right over there, pretty much would be where the old Farmall logo used to be. And it would also be here on, there would be a letter, capital B with a circle right there. Then it would say McCormick Farmall, right, International Harvester here. I don't know if it'd say McCormick. It's been a while since I've actually seen this, since I've seen a tractor with stickers on it. Now, you can see how the wheels are close together here on the front end, and I think that's what's called a tricycle setup. And now, as you can see here, mine are in pretty bad shape. That right there is the tire tube, which is supposed to go inside the tire, and it keeps the tire inflated. So I'm gonna have to fix the tires, but that's the episode for a different day. So that allowed it to turn tighter, I guess. These tractors can turn pretty tight. So anyways, that's the right hand side of the engine going all the way back out to the steering wheel and the pedals and the shifter knob all the way over right about to where my finger's pointing at right there. As you can tell, one of my tires is flat on the back end as well. You see the space where that's not supposed to be like that. That's because the tires come off the bead. That's another episode. Right here, so it's called a wheel weight. It's pretty much add-on to the wheel, which gives it more traction while pulling and stabilizes the tractor if it has if it's pulling something really heavy that it couldn't handle without the wheel weight. So, and you have a little fender here that goes from the back to the front, or the front to the back, whichever way you prefer to put it. There's a better shot right there. Okay, now come around to the back. Here is an old hydraulic pack. I don't know if that can be repaired or if it even works, but a later episode. So, yeah, a lot of episodes going to be coming from this series. What we have here, pretty much with the Gigantic X running from the left rear wheel there over to there, and then the middle part with the X right there going from, well, underneath the tractor to about right there, and then there and there and there. It's pretty much what's called a drawbar. which can be used to pull various implements and stuff like that. I don't think this is the standard stock Farmall drawbar that came on here, but anyways, another episode. Now here's the one good side. This tire actually still holds air, so that's a good thing. So I don't have to replace all 4 tire tubes. Got an old light right here. Don't even know if it works. Don't really care at the moment. That's on the top of the priority list. There's the other side of it. There's an old gauge right here. I forget what that does. I can't really see. I think that's the amp gauge. Which reads your voltage. So right here is the gear shift pattern, which is stuck at the moment. So I'll have to figure that out. It's a 4-speed with reverse. So right there is the little on and off switch that keeps them from starting or not. Then there's another one button right there. Okay, sorry about the lapse in video footage. I had an interruption that I had to deal with, so sorry about that. Okay, that's another switch. I think that's the start button. So anyways, now let's see. Let me hop up here for a second. Yeah. What I have here is the steering wheel. Right down there is the battery box. This is one of the battery cables. Okay. And the pink, what used to be a red cable running. Oh, see if I can reach it. Probably not. There, I didn't get a better shot. That cable run all the way down there. Let's see here. That's the other battery cable. Let me zoom back out here. Okay. What we have here is we have 3 pedals. And not one of them is the gas. But this one right here is the clutch pedal. And you press that down. Then you select your gear, whatever you want to put in, then you move your shifter here. Now, I wish I could demonstrate that if it actually worked. It doesn't go into gear at the moment for some reason, but another episode. Now, okay, you're probably wondering if that's a clutch pedal and none of the other ones are gas pedals. That's because what makes tractors unique is the fact that they have 2 brake pedals. It's rusted up at the, well, I haven't really tried to unstick it yet, but this little tab right here, this will flip over and get into a groove on the pedal that I'm aiming at right there. So, like, yeah, this thing flips into that thing, so that way when you press on one of the brake pedals, like this, the brakes are stuck at the moment. Hold on a second. There. Another episode to figure that out, because the brakes don't work. So what you do is when they're both locked together, it would make the brakes function like a car, and they would, both wheels stop at the same time. Now if I just press down like the one on the left side, which my foot is on, then that wheel would, then the driver's side wheel would stop, and if I turn the tractor to the left or to the right, pretty much, hold on a second here, to the left or to the right, then the tractor would pivot and turn on the one wheel, because the one wheel is locked and the other wheel, and the right passenger side wheel would still be able to move. Now, I'll have to show that once I get the brakes up and working and the tractor's drivable again. So, now as far as the gas goes, that is this thing right here. That's a throttle. This little lever is right here. So, pretty much, let me get back to the shot here. This little lever right here controls the speed of the engine. This goes back and forth. And hopefully, that'll be in use today. And you can tell by the fact that that rod right there that my finger is on, or pointing to, see how it, I don't think you can see it move, but it moves, believe me. Okay, now what we have next here is we have the gas tank. Need to clean that out at the moment, not for sure yet. And now, let me hop off here. Okay, not the best idea. Alright. That's the gas tank back there. Gas cap. Yeah. That didn't need any explanation. Why did I do that? Okay. The faded blister part is the hood. And there's the other side of the tractor. Not for sure what most of this stuff is. I think that's a generator. I don't know what that is. That's the original starter. Don't know if we're gonna need that yet or not. This thing right here is the original starter. There's an old car horn right here. So, and right there, that's one of the brake lines, or that controls the brakes. Okay, now, so question is does this thing even, is there any hope of even getting this thing going? Yes, there is. Now, does it run? The answer is not yet. So let me set the camera down here for a sec, and I'll show you a little bit more of what I'm going to do. Okay, now you can see more of the engine with the hood off. Now, pretty much the problem is that the engine is free, which means it'll sit there and turn over, but we can't get it to start. Now, what powers tractors in a lot of, well, most vehicles is called an internal combustion engine. Pretty much, you have a chamber which has a piston. I'm not going to be able to explain this very well, but I'll try. So, you have a chamber, like picture a jar upside down. And you don't have the lid on it. Now, the piston will come up into the bottom. And there's 4 things that you need, which is 4 or 3, I think. Air, spark, fuel, and combustion. Well, no, wait, compression. When you mix all 4 of those together into that chamber, the piston, it turns on a rod, which it's attached to, which is turned by the starter over here. So, pretty much what happens when the piston comes up with the fuel mixed into the cylinder, when it comes up like towards the would be the bottom of the jar, even though it's upside down, it pushes up. Now, then the distributor cap right here, or distributor, it sends a spark from like this wire right. Okay, this one's not attached, but it attaches onto one of these things, which is called a spark plug. It sparks inside the cylinder, so when the piston comes up, the spark causes an explosion, which is called combustion, and that forces, it will shove the piston back down because of the force. Now, pretty much that's what powers the tractor, because it turns the rod that the pistons are attached to, which powers the transmission, and the back end, which runs through the axles, which cause your wheels to turn and drive. So the problem is we have everything except spark. Now what we have here is we have 4 spark plugs, so 4 chambers. So, yeah. Now, okay, that's the bottom view of the spark plug, and right, I'm gonna try to point out here. Right here between, here's a tiny little gap right here, and between this little nub right there, that's where the spark shoots, in between arcs, not shoots, arcs, and shoots the spark into the cylinder, or cylinder, to cause the force to push the piston down. Now these things screw into this hole right there. So I don't know if these spark plugs are good or bad, but the tractor's been sitting for 20 years and we don't have spark, so that could be part of the problem. Also, the distributor cap could be bad. There's also a part inside here which is called, let's see here, I grab it. It's called your rotor. That can be bad as well. Pretty much on the distributor cap, what it does is the rotor spins around, and it'll hit each for the spark plugs on the bottom, on the inside of this. It's hard to explain, sorry. It'll spin around and it'll hit all the little nubs on the underside of the distributor cap, and it'll send sparks to the cylinders in a certain order to make sure the engine runs right and fires in the right order to get the best drive possible of the tractor. So I'm not gonna mess with the plug wires for now. Gonna go with the distributor cap, the rotor, and there's also what's called a coil, which is this thing when I'm holding in my hand right here. It has a nub on this end, where my finger's at. Jeez. See a little plug end right there. That plugs into this right here. Now we also have on here is we also have a positive and a negative terminal, plus for positive, minus for negative. This wire right, this short little wire runs off the positive terminal to right there on the distributor. So yeah, and then it usually would squeeze right through this little clamp, would go pretty much right around, all the way around where that rust band is, and the coil just sits in there, something like that, except further forward. Now, so you're going to replace the plugs, spark plugs, the coil, the distributor cap, and the rotor. So I found some parts off eBay. This is the new coil. 2 terminals on the end, except for the difference is where it plugs into, where that wire I showed you plugged into just a second ago. It plugs in this side and it's on the same side with the terminals. We're on the stock model. Is on this was on opposite end on the other end. What we have here is we have a dust shield to keep the dust out, especially when farming. That's always a good thing. New distributor cap right here. You can see the little points right here on the right there. That's where the rotor spins around and sends a signal to each one of these 4 little points on each of the 4 corners here to make it turn in a certain way. So, and here we have 4 nice shiny new spark plugs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1/2" wrench. Let's see here. Where's the wrench? There you can see it, not very well, but 1/2". And some pliers to get it off with. The wrench comes into play because it loosens the clamp bolt here, which allows the clamp to come up and then put the coil on. Needle nose pliers here takes off this band on each side to take the distributor cap off. So yeah, not that hard of stuff to do. And like on the other side, the one other thing we're going to need is fuel, and that's controlled by a carburetor which runs from like here to here, and it has like a rod here right there, and then there's another one which runs from right here. Stuff going with. So anyways, but I got a mechanic friend who's helping me at this tractor. He knows a lot more stuff about these than I do. But he's rebuilding the thing since it's been sitting for 20 years because gunk can build up and cause it not to start and all sorts of nasty problems like that. And I think that's what I want to say is the air filter. This thing running right there, run all the way up there, and attached with 2 bolts right there and right there. Where's the top of the air filter? This is it. It's a jar. I think that's to trap sediments or whatever. I'm not for sure. But anyways, this is just that hole there. This goes on that pipe with a little clamp bolt. Where's the clamp bolt? There it is, right there. So, just pretty much sets on top of the tractor. Kind of like that. But you can't really tell how it's supposed to go with the hood off the tractor. But anyways, at any rate, I'm going to get started. So I'll bring you guys another clip as soon as I can.